And good morning, my beautiful America. Welcome back to the All American Book Club. Ladies and gentlemen, we are bringing back to the show for the second time Dr. Ashley Lucas and PhD weight loss and nutrition. And you guys, get ready. For those who live inside the DC Beltway, wake up. America's health crisis is here, and it's a national security threat. Dr. Ashley Lucas writes this in her most recent article in May in the Washington Stand, Family Research Council's The Washington Stand. She talks about this as we, the American people, are getting ready to celebrate the 250-year anniversary of the greatest republic in the world. There will be fireworks, but did you guys realize we are the sickest we have ever been? Is it because of the COVID generation? Possibly. Is it because of the fact that we are behind our desks 24/7? We live a very stressful lifestyle. Yes, there are a lot of different reasons. So Dr. Ashley is here to break down the national security threat that we see in our nation's backyard. So welcome back to the show, Dr. Ashley. I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you for having me. I've been excited about this.
Oh, well, I'm hyped up on Dr. Ashley protein, so I'm rock and roll. I'm sitting here drinking my cappuccino drink. All of those, if you're interested, we'll tell you more about that in a second. So you did an amazing article on the Washington Stand, and you talk about our national security threats, and it really links back to our nation's health. Can you talk a little bit to the fact when people hear that, they're like, well, how is that possible? But it really is affecting our education, our labor and workforce, and our military readiness. What are your initial thoughts as you penned that article?
I have found through my clinical experience, my own personal experience, and I think you have too, Eden, that if we do not have physical vitality, we cannot operate at our highest level. We can't fight. We can't feel empowered. We can't be as strong as possible. I really believe that our body is the biggest miracle. It is just amazing in what it does. And it's this meat suit that allows us to experience life, to serve others, to stay sovereign. And if we don't feed it the way that it needs to be fed and move it the way that it needs to be moved, we don't take care of our vehicle. Like this is like a car, right? Let's
Right.
say I took you to a dealership and I said, "Hey, you can pick out any car that you want. It can be any expense. It doesn't matter. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to pay the taxes. You get this as a gift. I'm going to give this to you." And you take it, you get it, and I say, "Okay, there's one caveat. That one thing is you need to take care of it. It's the only one car that you get for the rest of your life."
Mhm.
This is it. We've been given this vehicle and it is our responsibility to take care of it. You would probably bring it in for an oil change when you're supposed to. You would feed it the best fuel, the highest level of gas. You would maintain it. We don't do that to our bodies. And therefore, we can't perform to our highest ability, support our nation, support our kids, our grandkids. It's a really big deal.
When I sit there and I look at what I see in our nation's backyard, you and I grew up in a time when we were basically dragged back into the house during the summer days, lazy days of summer, because we wanted to be outside playing or we wanted to be performing, you being the ballerina, being on the ball field or playing volleyball or riding bikes. Today, we don't see that as much. We see kids behind the screen. We see them on the screen. We see them playing video games, but we don't see an active culture. And that I feel has been a downward spiral to what we are seeing now. Has it been because of COVID? I think it exposed it more, but I think it's something in our culture we've been seeing as technology continues to evolve. But how do we get these kids back into the streets, play ball, play games, and have more of that active lifestyle versus sitting behind a computer playing, video games all day?
No, it's so difficult. I have three kids myself, 13, 12, and 7, and it is a fight. And I tell them I say no to screens because I love them. It would be
Yeah.
easier just to let them watch the screen. So I think it's for us as parents, as grandparents, that we're aware that we can't take the easy route either, that
Right.
we really need to focus on it. And then for my kids, I personally have limits on their screen time.
Yeah.
So probably 30 minutes a day they get to watch a screen if they as a reward for something. So I
Yes.
think it's about having those limitations and understanding that, and we tell our kids, these apps and phones and screens in general are addictive. And
Mhm.
I do think, in a way, they are designed to weaken us. And they know how the doom scrolling. There is research showing that if you scroll Instagram or some kind of social media platform at night, you will have a dopamine crash within 48 hours.
Mhm.
I mean, the research
Absolutely.
shows this, that it does
Yes.
limit us. And so I think awareness is key, educating, and then creating those limits for our kids, getting them engaged in some kind of sport that they can, fall in love with or at least enjoy enough to be able to keep their bodies active.
Well, you look at the generation that we grew up in, and presidential fitness was so important then. I
Mhm.
remember, okay, I wasn't very active physically, but I always had a book in hand. I always had a book. God bless my parents, getting me out of the house away from a book. It wasn't technology, it was a book. But I
Mhm.
sit there and say, President Trump has reenacted the presidential physical fitness, the importance of it, where it kind of went away. It was originally established by President Eisenhower, one of my favorite presidents, who was very physically fit as, serving in World War II, then went on to be president. So you think about our historical legends of those who served, also President Kennedy, really instilling the presidential fitness, and President Trump bringing it back now during this term to really raise awareness on how let's get our kids active. Let's get our military readiness way ahead of what other countries are doing. What about the labor and workforce? All of us, since COVID, for a lot of us, still work behind a virtual desk. So,
Mhm.
how often are we able to get out and get those walks? So, let's talk about back to the basics.
Okay.
Let's talk about, do we get to sit down around the dinner table and have a healthy meal at least once a week? I know it's hard with the fast paced environment. Let's talk about what it is to get the good night's sleep. Let's talk about, how do we remove the fast food and then instead add the protein versus the fast food. So let's talk about back to the basics. I remember growing up having those family meals. What
Mhm.
are your thoughts on getting families back together or grandparents back together with kids to be able to sit there and say, okay, this is a healthier lifestyle, to be able to communicate off the phones,
Mhm.
engaging one another, but then also digesting both healthy food and a healthier culture?
Oh my gosh. I mean, you're exactly right, Eden. It's so important. For our family specifically, we're in the phase where I think a lot of families are, where kids are in all these different activities, and it's hard to
Yeah.
find a time where you're all together. We do have our family meeting night, and so we make sure at least once a week we're all together. We talk about our highs, our lows, what we're grateful for, what we're proud of. And each child goes around and talks about what their specific goals are and what they would like our help with. So we do that at least once a week. That's important to us. And then we usually get together. We're very fortunate to have family around. So we usually hold a family night dinner with my parents as well. I think it's so important to learn from each other, to be with each other. If we take the kids out to dinner, we never will allow them to be on a screen. We've never brought their iPad with them. We really want them to learn how to communicate and to have eye contact. And in our family meeting, we usually teach one lesson. Like, my kids are a mess, just like everybody's, but how to shake a hand, how to ask someone how they're doing. I think these basic communication skills are really important. My kids still eat with their fingers, and I try my best. We all try our best. During the
Yeah.
summer, when there's not as many activities, we will all sit together as a family eating something. Generally, that's cooked from home if we can manage it. And I
Yeah.
know life is crazy. I have three kids, two companies, just like everybody else, we're moving at rapid pace. And if we could just focus on having a moment together, sitting mindfully. I think a good rule that I tell our clients at PhD Weight Loss is when you eat, you have a rule that you sit down when you eat. This is
Yes.
also helpful when you're cooking dinner and you're kind of tasting everyone's food and the kids' food. Make a rule with yourself. Listen, I don't eat unless I sit down. And then you're just
Yes.
more aware, more mindful, and you'll find that there's less snacking to that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, no. Well, let's talk about that. So, PhD weight loss and nutrition really has transformed so many different lives. And we have cited in the article that more than 70% of Americans are obese. And
Hmm.
it goes along with all those factors, but you really bring it back to the basics. I want to hold up the book again, five steps to reset the scale. And we also have, you're going to be doing a master class in this month as well, highlighting a lot of the work that you've been doing. I being one of your clients. And I want to say this really quickly for all of those who follow me on social. You guys will see I was pushing the other day at Lowe's. My husband knows how much I want to get my endurance up. And thanks to Dr. Ashley, I've been able to do that. What you didn't see on there was about 10 cinder blocks. You saw the lumber on there, but there were cinder blocks. Okay, I did wake up with a Charlie horse that same night, but I realized I had to increase in magnesium. But with that said, I wouldn't have been able to do that a year ago.
Yeah.
And it's because of what you do to reset our metabolism,
Hmm.
take us back to the basics. You offer coaching, you offer a powerful foundation that all these diet fads will never do.
Hmm.
So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, one thing I would like to mention is we've been talking about exercise. Movement is important for sure. And if you're listening to this and you feel overwhelmed because you can't move, or you don't feel like you want to move, or you have injury or a handicap or something that's preventing you to move, and you think, oh my gosh, there's no hope for me, you can drop massive amounts of weight
Mhm.
without doing a ton of exercise. Say, I'm
Yes.
not promoting a sedentary lifestyle, but I don't want you to feel like you can't make a change because of that. It is totally fine. And we've helped thousands of people drop massive weight. Most of the time, when the body's carrying excess fat weight, you're carrying inflammation. Inflammation is the root of all disease, and it makes you tired. It makes your joints ache. It increases your symptoms if you've got an autoimmune condition. Sometimes it's the root of the autoimmune condition. So, when we can feed your body anti inflammatory foods, when we can feed your body the right food for your unique metabolism at that unique moment in time, we are able to shed a lot of the inflammation, shed a lot of the excess fat weight, so your body actually begins to have this natural desire to move more. Okay,
Yes.
so it might be 8 weeks, it might be 16 weeks before, but I promise you there will be a time in your journey where you feel like moving more. It might not look like how your neighbor moves and goes to the gym, but it's going to be perfect for you and your body. I am a huge believer that the body never makes a mistake. It is so amazing. It's always working to protect you. It might not feel like it. You might feel like you're working against it and you hate your body. And that's part of the work. And it's part of the process. So that's what we do at PhD Weight Loss. We create a specific meal plan for your body so that we can shed the weight that no longer serves you, the inflammation that's associated with it. And then we have really high touch weekly one-on-one coaching through the process. It's very dynamic because as your body changes, your needs change, your mindset changes. So it's a very holistic perspective. I believe that to drop weight and keep it off for good, we've got to look at the whole body. It's so much more complicated than just a calorie in and calorie out perspective.
Oh, absolutely. One thing I remember, Sherry, the coach that I was assigned when I was starting the program, again, going back to that sedentary lifestyle, for like my work, it's constantly at a desk or constantly on a phone. And she said, just get up and do 10 minutes of walking if you can do that.
Yeah.
And it was really, again, back to the basics that gave me the courage to say, yeah, I can do this. I can do 10 minutes of walking. That's a no brainer. And then I was able to increase over time.
Mm-hmm.
And just the walking, like you said, you don't have to do aerobics. You don't have to do all this heavy stuff. I've just been able to add that over time
Yeah.
because of sticking with it and it being such a life change.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage people, even just 10 minutes. That's all it took. That's
Yeah.
really all it took. So well done on the coaching. Thank you, Sherry, if
Well,
you're
yes,
listening. I
I'll
love
let Sherry know.
it. Also, let's talk about back to the basics again.
Mhm.
With I want to go back to the kids segment for a second. Kids are getting out of school, whether they are taking a break from college, doing summer camps. whatever. But we are headed into the summer days. What are some great drinks and recommendations you can give to kids, to the parents and grandparents who are listening in, because they want to go for the Cokes, they want to go
Yeah.
for Starbucks, they want to go for the Dunkin' Donuts, all the fun sugary drinks, but we know that that's going to crash them immediately.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, it's just not good for them. So what can we recommend that would be just great tools for the caregivers, the parents this summer?
Yeah, that's great. So what I'm not a fan of is juice. We don't have juice in the house. It's just all sugar, really. I'd rather them to eat the whole fruit rather than drink the juice. We don't have any kind of premixes like Kool-Aid or sweet drinks or energy drinks. My son even plays football. We don't have any Gatorade. We do love electrolytes, so we will do a squeeze of lemon and some sea salt in water. I've got a brand of electrolytes that I love called Dr. Ashley Wellness. Another brand that the kids love is Ultima, and we just stick that in the water and they'll make frozen ice cubes out of the Ultima drink as well, or out of the Dr. Ashley Wellness drink. They'll mix it up and then freeze it into popsicle molds or ice cubes. They are a fan of just bubbly waters, like Waterloo, for example, the stuff that doesn't have any kind of sweet taste to it. As a treat, they do like Zevia is a brand, and their favorite flavor right now is black cherry. So they will do that occasionally. And sometimes they do like kombucha, and I'll get the lower sugar kombucha flavors. And they've had that since they're little, so their taste buds are adapted to it, and I enjoy it as well. So I would say those are going to be the highlights, but they're also conditioned to just like water.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you really quickly on the water. Is there a certain water brand that you really find that's just really more nourishing than others? I know so many have all their different brands, all their different pushing marketing, but is there one
Yeah.
that you really like lean into?
Yes, Mountain Valley spring water is my favorite, and it comes in a glass bottle.
Okay.
You can find that at the health food stores. Otherwise, I'm into avoiding plastic.
Yeah.
So I really try to fill up on my own with a wa reusable water bottle, or if I can find something in glass, I will go for that.
Okay. All right. And then we have about 2 minutes left. So I want to talk
Mhm.
about two more things. Protein,
Mhm.
which you mentioned in the article as a great resource. And I mentioned early on in our interview how I use your Dr. Ashley packets of protein
Mhm.
midday. And I have a cappuccino right now
Mhm.
that has been driving me, which I absolutely love because I feel so good on it. So let's talk about the protein mechanisms of what we can add to our day to day without having to do the golden arches or have to go to, for us in
Yeah.
the South, Bojangles, because that is
Mhm.
not protein. So
Yeah.
what do you recommend as some simple sources this summer for kids to
Mhm.
nourish themselves on?
Yeah, let's see. So we always do meal prep. We will grill some steaks, we'll make some chicken, we slice it up. You can stick that in we use like a silicone reusable bag, like I am on a big quest to reduce plastic.
Yeah.
So you can get those reusable bags. We get the lunch boxes that you stick in the freezer. I think I'm forgetting what the brand is, but they have like a gel-like thing intrinsic to the bag, and we'll just stick the bags of sliced protein in that lunchbox, and it keeps it cold. They do like hard-boiled eggs. We make sure to bring salt because nothing's good without salt, and salt actually isn't dangerous like we've been told. So that's a great source. We like full fat plain Greek yogurt, and the kids will put some honey on top of it. And you can get the little containers of Fage. It's spelled, I think, Fage. And you can get the low fat or the full fat. I don't like non-fat yogurt, not a fan. If you're eating non-fat yogurt, I do away with that. And then I prefer you to put your own honey on it if you need that, or sweeten it with stevia, or you could just put some berries on top of it. So I'd say that is their best favorite source of protein. Sometimes they're not into hot dogs. I know a lot of kids are, and there are like grass-fed beef,
Mhm.
decent versions of that they can eat with some ketchup that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the best bets. We don't ever go to fast food, so usually we prepare to succeed.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And I love it. I will also do a full endorsement. Greek yogurt is one of the best sources. Instead, if you were wanting ice cream, instead, it's a great filler
Yeah.
that is the whole Greek yogurt. I have fallen in love with the fact that it is so filling. It has a great taste to it, and it is so good for your body, and you feel so good after.
Yeah,
I
you can
I just start vacuuming after I eat it.
I can see that, Eden. You can put a little bit of like your favorite whey protein into the Greek yogurt, mix it up so it might taste vanilla or chocolate peanut butter or something like that.
Yeah.
The liquid stevia drops that maybe like vanilla flavored, you could put one drop in a cup of that.
Yeah.
So lots of different ways you can dress it up too.
Oh, I love it. So, Dr. Ashley, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to talk about your master class and
Oh,
let people know where they can go because this month you're going to be doing a master class. And then we also want to give them the phone number so they can go
yes.
and sign up. And I know so many of my friends have been tagging me privately. I want to do Dr. Ashley. So here's the number 864-644-1900. Mention my name, Eden. You will get a lot of things free and you will get a great coach and you will be mentored and you'll have people like Dr. Ashley and myself walking alongside of you, supporting you on this amazing journey. Also, myfatlossfix.com is where you're going to be leading master classes. You want to say something really quick about that?
Yeah, I think GLP-1s are still very much out there, and people I have found believe that they need a medication to be able to have GLP-1 in the body, where the body actually makes GLP-1 levels naturally. And there
Mm.
are certain foods and lifestyle behaviors that you can implement to just work on your own natural GLP-1 secretion. So I talk a lot about how it works in the body, what you can do. I provide you with clear examples on what to eat for breakfast, lunch, snack, dinners. I think it's very, very helpful. What type of movement? We talk about sleep. We talk about ideas for stress management because they all come into play there. So it's been really enjoyed by thousands of people. And I hope if you are listening to this, you can attend and I'll see you there.
Oh, wonderful. So, for all of those who are tuning in, stay tuned for our next segment. We'll be right back. And I just want to repeat one more time my fat loss fix, FIX.com. So you can sign up for Dr. Ashley's masterclass. And one final time, 864-644-1900. Mention Eden, and you will not regret joining Dr. Ashley Lucas, PhD weight loss and nutrition.